If you saw my video last week, you'll know that I'm currently driving around in a Mini Countryman Cooper, or is it Mini Cooper Countryman? Anyway, it's one of those. And the reason for that being that my M4 is once again at the BMW dealer having something sorted. This is my courtesy car. Come on, Mini, come on. I've had this car for about a week now, and I've done about 1,000 kilometers in it. Bit of town driving, bit of motorway driving, and a bit of entertaining road driving as well. And I've always sort of liked Minis. I like what they've done with Mini. I think they've always just done a really good job. Generally, BMW with Mini, just very, very good. You know, these cars handle generally very well, and they're quite good fun. They look different to other cars, and there's lots of positives about Mini. So I like driving them. And this one, hardly a Mini. It's more like a Maxi. The thing is absolutely massive. So this is not a Mini really. It's Mini in name, but not Mini in nature. And you can easily fit a family of 5 in here. Plenty of space, decent sized boot and everything. But I think for me, the thing that was interesting with this car is, because I've never driven a Countryman before. I've always driven the smaller Minis. And this one still handles quite well and everything. Not as well as the smaller ones, obviously. I mean, this is a 1.5 ton car, so it does weigh quite a bit. But when I got in it, it was the surprise, the shock, whatever you want to call it, is the engine. Now, this has a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, which happens to be half the size of my M4 engine, because that's a twin turbo 6-cylinder 3 litre. So this is literally half the engine, but it's less than half the power. So this has about 136, 137 horsepower, which isn't a lot considering this is quite a heavy car, and you do notice it. And so what happens with this car, with this engine, is that you don't get out of it the fuel consumption that you would hope to get out of it. By having a small 1.5 litre 3-cylinder engine, you would hope that the benefit is the low fuel consumption. But actually, it's not. If you were to buy this car, you're probably better off with the diesel version. And let me explain why. The problem with it is that when you press on a little bit, is that you have to give it so many revs. So if I want to accelerate, so I'm on 2,000, 3,000 RPMs, going up to 4, 5. Okay, now I've sort of got a change of 5, and red line's about 6,500. But my foot is literally to the floor, trying to give it everything that it's got, because it's not that it's slow, but to get that performance, or to get any sort of performance, to get any movement with the car, any acceleration, you need to really give it some revs. Like now I'm flooring it in 6th, nothing happens. Bring it down to 4th, still nothing. You've got to go down to 3rd. There, now we've got some momentum. So what happens then if you're just sort of trying to get a little bit of speed, you're just foot to the floor all the time. And so that's a bit counterintuitive in terms of why cars have gone to this whole 3-cylinder, small capacity, turbocharged engines. The idea is to save weight, save fuel. At the end of the day, what we've got here is a heavy car that uses a lot of fuel. Excuse the sun in my face now. So I think mini quote for this car, let me tell you. I've just stopped by some bins to give you some numbers. Yes, this is a classy channel, and I've put my glasses on to make me look more intelligent. So mini quote for this car, right? So they say that this car should do 42 miles per gallon. That's UK miles per gallon. So 42 miles per gallon is 5.6 litres per 100 kilometres. But I'm averaging 8.9 litres per 100 kilometres. That's like, is that like 40% more? It's like 40% more fuel consumption. So that's a huge difference. So if you think that's nearly 9 litres per 100 kilometres, and I'm getting 11.5 average, something like that, 11 point something from my M4. There's not a massive difference between the two cars. And just so you know, just for the benefit of everybody, 8.9 litres per 100 kilometres is about let's have a look, is 31 miles per gallon for the UK, and for the US is 26 miles per gallon. And that's not good. Those are not good numbers. I think that a normal driver, because I don't consider myself a normal driver because I probably drive too fast and too abruptly everywhere I go, but a normal driver is still not going to be able to get the fuel consumption that Mini quotes from this car, from this engine. But I think there's a couple of things. One is that if you're mainly sort of town driving, the diesel is probably not the option because that takes so long to warm up, and it's probably got higher emissions, especially just for like short journeys. So you're better off with the petrol version if you're just like a city driver. I think then it makes sense. But if you're more doing long commutes, which is actually what I've been doing with this car, I've actually been doing some quite long journeys, and for that, this is not the option. You definitely want the diesel if what you're going to be doing is mainly sort of motorway driving and stuff like that. But the whole small engine, small capacity, good on fuel, that's just like this myth. It's not true. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. I understand and I really appreciate the fact that manufacturers are going down this small engine route, and I think it's really, really good in general. But the benefits are not there in terms of fuel consumption. And like now, for example, see the car can't accelerate, just doesn't have enough power, doesn't have enough torque. It needs a bit more. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It's only a little one. I just wanted to talk about something that I often think about with small engines, especially petrol engines, about the fact that they get thrashed so much. They probably wear a lot more because you're always giving them a lot more revs because they need the revs to get up hills and to overtake, and just generally getting around, you need to rev them so much more. So you don't get the fuel consumption, you probably increase the wear rate. I think it's a slight false economy. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.